Hey folks, this is Jake Davis, doing a little something different for you today. This is actually something I've been trying to get to for the better part of a month now. And I just wanted to do a legacy video for the late, great Mr. John Candy. I did actor articles. I wrote a handful of them back in, I want to say it was 2013. And when I did those, I really focused on the golden age of Hollywood. Frederick March, Peter Lorre, Robert Mitchum, Henry Fonda. And I just, for a while I've been kind of wanting to get back to that, getting back to the geniuses that either aren't with us anymore or were taken too soon. And after watching a documentary on YouTube a few months ago, about 2 months ago, about John Candy, I was inspired to do this. First off, John Candy was born on Halloween night in 1950, and in Newmarket, Ontario. Nice working class Roman Catholic family, and by the early 1950s, he was starting to do stage work and sketch work. And by 1970s, by the early 70s, and eventually he ended up on Second City Television, or SCTV, which was a concept-driven sketch show based out of Canada, which eventually got picked up by NBC in the very early 80s. And since a big part of my channel is about just talking about movies, let's run through some of his movies real quick. Or before you get to that, I should just say that, I've talked on this channel before about John Candy, and I really think he was a brilliant comedian, just gone far, far too soon, and something special. It was something very, very special. Anyhow, so his films, right off the bat, Stripes was a terrific movie. Bill Murray vehicle, I mentioned it in my Bill Murray video. He's very great as Ots, terrific performance. The only guy in movie history to ever beat up women and it be funny. Heavy Metal as Den, he was terrific voice work as Den. It's a very, very adult adult animated movie. And, but I'd still recommend just see it. It's something else, man. Don't watch it with your kids. It's not a cartoon movie you can watch with your kids. Vacation come on. Vacation is a classic. One of Chevy Chase, if not Chevy Chase's best performance. One of the best performances in all of comedy. Him as Clark Griswold. And Chevy Chase, even though he doesn't come into like the last 10-15 minutes of the movie. Not Chevy Chase, John Candy. He's really, really great in it. Splash is a film that, I didn't really see until I was in like my early or mid-20s, I think. And it's alright. It's not a bad movie, but John Candy's terrific. Brewster's Millions, come on, we don't have to talk about Brewster's Millions. Who talked Walter Hill into making Brewster's Millions? I still can't wrap my head around that. Armed and Dangerous is just, none of these movies are like unwatchable, because like I said, they got John Candy in them. But, yeah, Armed and Dangerous has never really been a movie that did anything for me. It's just not that good. It's just really not that good. Little Shop of Horrors is a classic. It's a masterpiece. John Candy is so very, very weird in it. Sorry. Spaceballs. Spaceballs is another thing. It seems like, it's like, it is always the Star Wars parody people go to and talk about when we're talking about those parodies. And it's just never done it for me. And there's like no reason for that, really. Mel Brooks, fucking funny. Rick Moranis, funny. John Candy, funny. But just the movie doesn't do it for me. And I would, as far as, the pig factor goes, I would even argue Daphne Zuniga is just as hot, if not hotter, than Carrie Fisher was. But it just never really just gelled with me, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Hush! I've said before, I think it's the best Thanksgiving movie ever made, easily. I mean, it's not really like the biggest genre in the world anyways, but it's a terrific... Shh. Come over here if you want to shoot the video, otherwise I'm going to have to reshoot this whole thing over again. You want to come over here and say hi real quick?
Hi.
Say again.
Hi.
There you go. Now get lost. No, you can hang out over here, baby.
Out, yeah.
I've said, The Great Outdoors, is a movie I haven't seen since I was a kid. I recently, went back and saw some clips to it. Where did I see those? It was on YouTube somewhere, but, it was the clip of me eating the steak. It's just a funny movie, man. Who's Harry Crumb is one of those movies, it would be god-awful dreck, if it wasn't for John Candy. And anybody else in that role, you got a crap movie. But you had John Candy, therefore you have a good movie. Or at least a funny movie. Home Alone. Home Alone, I saw at the theaters. Probably, yeah, the only John Candy movie I caught at the theaters. My mom took me when I was a kid. Me and my sisters. But, next to... he is the funniest thing in that movie that doesn't involve graphic violence. Of course, Daniel Stern is great in that film, though. But there's no getting around it. When he gets the spider put on his face, you laugh your ass off in that scene. That's just what happens. It's mathematical. The Rescuers Down Under. I misremembered for years thinking he did the voice of both Birds and both Rescuers movies, but it was just a sequel. But yeah, again, greatness, brilliant. He was a great voice actor anyway. Like there's this legendary commercial of him doing the voice of a dog running around the kitchen looking for bacon. It's brilliant stuff. Hush! Loudmouth. Nothing But Trouble is a movie that is a very, very unfortunate film, and it's not very good. I mean, Chevy Chase, Demi Moore, John Candy, Dan Aykroyd, and Digital Underground. Yeah. But if you've ever wanted to see Humpty Hump, Tupac, and Dan Aykroyd do a song together, you should see the movie, I guess. Weirdo. Why would you want that anyway? Anyhow, JFK. JFK is a very, very rare situation. We have him in a total drama. It's a good scene, good performance. But just JFK is one of those movies that, like him. I won't be surprised if there's actors who are, successful, popular, working actors floating around Hollywood in the early 1990s who misremember whether or not they were in JFK. You got like Kiefer Sutherland floating around going, was I in JFK? I was in JFK. I was in A Few Good Men, but was I in JFK? I don't think so. Anyhow. Delirious is a movie about a guy who wakes up in the soap opera that he's a writer of. It's silly. Only the Lonely is kind of a terrific movie, where he's a guy who takes care of his... He's an uber mama's boy. Maureen O'Hara, the legendary Maureen O'Hara, plays his mother, and Ali Sheedy is a love interest, and they fall in love. Most famous scene of the whole movie is him walking down the hallway, and her like walking right behind him, trying to use his size to hide her littleness to sneak out of the house. It was a very, very funny scene. Man. Then we get to the movies that came out, around the time or shortly after he passed away. Like Cool Runnings I talked about before. It's a nice little sports movie. John Candy's great in it. Rookie of the Year is a movie about a little kid who joins Major League Baseball. It's terrific to see if you're a kid who likes baseball. Wagons East was a film. He unfortunately passed away while shooting. He passed away in March of 1994 while shooting this film from a massive heart attack. And, the film bombed because of that, mostly. And it's not a very good movie. Richard Lewis just isn't on Candy's level. Can't keep up with him. Robert Picardo is pretty funny in it, and a really, really funny performance from John C. McGinley. Scene I remember the most, because I probably haven't seen it since I was maybe 12, but the scene I remember the most about the movie is guy goes into a library or a bookstore. He needs to buy a big-ass book. And the guy sells him a big-ass book, and he just takes it straight to the outhouse. Toilet paper shopping in the Old West. And Canadian Bacon. Canadian Bacon's kind of a classic. One of Michael Moore, it might be Michael Moore's only scripted film, actually. Come to think of it. But it's terrific comedy, starring John Candy, Alan Arkin, Kevin Pollak, Rhea Perlman, and an amazing performance from Rip Torn. For me, for my money, one of the funniest performances of the 1990s. So I run through the movies, told you about his backstory, told you about the man's unfortunate passing. In closing, I just wanted to say that John Candy, while repeating myself, was, he was special. He was a treasure. And not just the comedy world, not just the film industry, not just his fans, but the world. The world lost something with John Candy. Over a quarter century after his death. And he's still missed by many. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope I did the man justice in talking about him. I kind of feel like I didn't. But, y'all, leave a like, subscribe, share, comment, get involved, all the good stuff. But most importantly, and also let me know if you want me to do more of these legacy videos. But most importantly, go watch a John Candy movie. He was special. He was brilliant. And quite honestly, I need to see some more John Candy movies. If you didn't notice while I was reading down this list, just talking about the movies I've seen, there's no Uncle Buck. I've never seen Uncle Buck, and it was a vehicle of his. It was a huge hit, and it's still to this day fondly talked about. And since it's celebrating a 30-year anniversary this year, it's a good time to go see it. So that will very probably be my next classic review. I'm going to go throw something at my kid because she can't be quiet during this video. Anyhow, I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.